for our future president.
Okay, so as you know, we put out an RFP in the summer or sometime, I'm not sure. The deadline was in October. And so Annette put together a small committee, subcommittee, to look at the RFP proposals. And there were 4 proposals. And on the committee we had 4 regents: John, Johnny, Paul, and me. And we had 4 staff, sort of, except our interim president was on. So we have Denise and Mark and Cheryl and Chris Sharp were also on in this group. And so we met maybe twice. The first time was literally the day the applications came in, and we all got copies of the whole of all the packets, and then we decided who would call references for all 4 applicants. And so we called the references, and we all reviewed the applications, and then we met again and decided on a short list of 2 finalists that we wanted to do interviews with. And so we did Zoom interviews today, starting at 3 o'clock, and we interviewed ACCT Searches, and that's a division of the Community College Association, ACCT. And the other search firm that we decided to interview was named Gold Hill. And we had very productive interviews with them on Zoom. Both firms would be really good choices for us, but the committee really felt like Gold Hill would be a better fit for our college. They're smaller. It's a pretty small shop. Both of the people we talked to are former community college presidents. One was a community college president in Texas for, I don't know, 20 years or so, McLennan College. They're very flexible. They answered the questions very directly. They were easy to talk to. They still, both of them have lots of Texas contacts and know people in Texas. They know Bud Joyner. They know our former president, H.D. Yarborough, and they know Russell. So they're really plugged into Amarillo. They went through the things about Amarillo that would be selling points for a candidate. They mentioned, Badger Gold. They mentioned the Aspen. They mentioned $500,000 for. What did we get that $500,000 for? I wrote it down twice because both of them mentioned that money that we got.
That was Aspen.
Yeah, something else.
McKinsey's.
Yeah, well, that one, they didn't mention that.
STEM scholarships.
Yes, STEM scholarships, thank you. Which just was announced, a couple weeks ago, so they knew that. They talked about the arts, they talked about the community. They just seem really interested in Amarillo and interested in attracting quality candidates here. They think that we will have a very strong applicant pool because we're so well known in the nation, and that people will want to come here to continue the work that we're doing, and that they will be impressed by the work we're doing. And they said also the fact that Russell was here and his leadership was so well known in the country that they think people will come here because the people that would be attracted know that winning the Aspen and with Russell's leadership, the employees are happy, the school is running well. I mean, there's just a lot of positives about it.
Yeah, they know a lot about Amarillo after Steve and Russell.
Yeah, they do. They do. So that's where we are on the search firm and the committee's work. And so we will have, John is ready to make a recommendation, motion.
Let's go ahead and do that,
And then
and then
we
we have more
can,
discussion.
yes.
I move that the Board of Regents select Gold Hill Associates to assist with the presidential search, and that Chris Sharp, the Vice President of Business Affairs, and Mark White, who's our General Counsel, are directed to negotiate terms and present a proposed final contract to the board for approval in January.
Thank you. And,
Second.
okay, I was gonna say, since that's a kind of sub, or almost a task force committee, let's go ahead and do a second. So a motion and a second for Gold Hill. Boy, when we first got there, I was like, there's no way we're gonna do that.
Totally.
But I wanna credit the committee, because I know y'all have done your due diligence and probably vetted these folks a whole lot harder than I really anticipated you would. But thanks for doing that. I think it'll pay off in the end. Anybody else on the committee wanna say anything or talk about the process going forward, or?
I'll just say that the two things that I thought about them, they're more like us than the other one. One seemed a little one size fits all, and I thought they were really good about, first of all, knowing our community. They, as far as working with the search committee, it's not you follow this exact form from top to bottom. They said, we'll help you design it, we'll support you all the way, but we're flexible. And that's what I think we need in Amarillo.
And they were good, since we've already done the work with Aspen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were willing to take that off the price, so that, just all the way around impressed.
What is the price of the two different ones?
The price,
By my calculation, it's a little bit of an estimate because we don't know all the travel expenses and stuff, but we're looking ballpark $60,000, which is less than ACCT.
Okay, what was
Kinda how you looked at it.
ACCT's?
oh yeah.
I think that ballpark was about 80, I think.
Do you remember?
Yeah, that's.
Is that?
And the timeline, they said they would reverse engineer the timeline, that we tell them when we want a new president in place, and they will use our timeline to get a candidate.
Is there like
A ballpark?
Yeah, I mean, can
Yes,
we,
there
can we
is.
say
They
next,
said
next month?
They thought 4 to 6 months, and I think that would include actually having a candidate that you've negotiated with. And then you negotiate when that candidate's start date would be.
So was there a rubric that y'all used, or how did you, was it
Just
just?
a good question.
We did. We had a scoring sheet for the 4 initial applications that we scored based on factors that Chris and Mark came up with using typical Amarillo College scoring factors. And that's how we came up with the 2 finalists.
The scoring factors, I'm the curious one. But I want to learn as I go.
For example,
What
were
was
the
the scoring factors?
So,
Experience, do you have one there?
yeah, national or regional experience and qualifications in successful recruiting for presidents. So that was worth 40 points. Proposed process and timing to conduct the AC search, including the process for identifying and attracting highly qualified candidates. So that was worth 30 points. Price and fee structure, including administrative costs and expenses, was worth 25 points. And then third-party references was worth just 5 points.
And I would just add, just to everything that's been said, is they just seem more customer focused. I think they're very adaptable to what it is we want instead of telling us what we need. They also seem to be in every category really that we were, asking questions about. They just had a better answer that seemed to be more on point to what we were looking for. So, to me.
So what numbers were you talking to? Like what size group were you talking to on Zoom?
On Zoom?
Are you talking about 1 or 2 or
Oh,
10?
for today?
Just small.
We had, ACCT had, 2 people on the call. The woman who is in charge of the searches, you know, the division, and the consultant who would work with us, and then Ed Massey. And then Gold Hill had 2 representatives, Preston Williams and Dennis Michaelis were both on there, on the call. Preston owns the company. And Dennis Michaelis is the one who was they both are community college former presidents, but Michaelis was at McLennan for a very long time.
Michael's, I missed his last name and Ed's last name.
Michaelis.
Ed Massey
Uh-huh.
and Dennis Michaelis, Michaelis.
Well, Ed Massey was ACCT.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the 2 on
So-
ACCT were Ed Massey and,
Julie
I'm sorry,
Golder.
And-
She is not a community, she's not like, he was a former community college president. She, I don't think, had worked at a community college.
But he had only been doing searches for.
Yeah, we might be his
Started.
second search ever.
Are you talking about Ed or?
Ed.
okay, and Preston, it's Preston Michaelis?
No,
No,
Preston Williams.
Okay, I have that down below it, I'm sorry.
Preston P-U-L-L-I-A-M-S.
Oh, with an S.
Preston
And-
Williams and Dennis Michaelis.
That's what I didn't have. Okay.
The other thing I would add is just references
Right.
also made us really feel that Gold Hill was a choice, so.
They had good Texas references. They've done 5 presidential searches for Lone Star Community College, which is in the Woodlands, and they have, I don't know, 9 campuses or something. So they did 5 presidential searches for them. They've done presidential searches for Alamo. They also only take a limited number of searches at a time. They're just a small group, and so you really feel like you're going to get the personal touch and the priority with them because they're not running around doing a bunch of searches all at one time.
Did they talk about what's next, or do you want to talk about what's next? Or
Sure, so
let's say we approve it.
if the board votes to do one particular company, then Chris and I will quickly negotiate a contract. We just gotta negotiate, the deadlines and some of the deliverables and the price. We can get that done pretty quickly this month, I'm sure. And then I think it would be wise to come back and have the full board approve that contract. So we will do that in January. We can either do it at the end of the month, or we can do it at a special meeting earlier in the month. But I think once we convey to whichever company or firm that we're gonna work with, they can start working immediately. And they will.
Well, let's try to set a special meeting date before we leave tonight. Since we've got most.
Yeah, they don't say this, because the meeting in January is late. And so we could save this couple of weeks.
So who were the other 2 that were not
There was
considered?
Bridgeworks.
Yeah, there was Bridgeworks was one.
and
They had
Storbeck.
Yeah.
Was it?
and they had not done a presidential search. They'd done some higher executive level, and then the other one is the one that was on the East Coast. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah, they mainly were East Coast and mainly universities, I believe.
But when we first went through those 4 proposals, there were 2 clear.
Yeah, it
Two
wasn't close.
stood out and 2 didn't.
There was a big gap.
It was a no-brainer.
And
Either of the 2.
on one of those applications, I think Paul was calling references and he wasn't getting calls back. So he was unable to check references.
Yeah, I spoke to one. The rest of them would never return my calls. They would, in any way, and they were all from the same Dallas College.
Dallas
All
College.
the references were from one college, and they had done some vice presidential or leadership type of, but not president searches.
So that was Bridgeworks?
Mm-hmm. That was Bridgeworks, yes.
And I hope this is appropriate. If it isn't, you can tell me.
No.
Okay. Martin Nair's name has come up. And what, I believe it was Jesse that had said, you know, he's already in town, he already knows the college, and so on and so forth. Is there, I'm looking at, could we save $60,000 or $80,000 by taking a look at him first? I know that, I don't believe he has a terminal degree. Could that be waived in someone that we know? Because Jesse had sent me, I guess he sent it to everybody, the criteria we had and what Mark met. And I guess that's really a question to the four of you.
The discussion early on was when I was first meeting with Cheryl to talk about job description and how to move forward with this, should it happen, and here we are, was any internal candidate can apply with the firm.
Okay.
So, or any local candidate or internal can apply. So we go through the same process.
Okay. Now, would we waive a terminal degree with someone like Mark?
We will work with,
Or do we need to
I
write a
think part of
different
what
policy
we
on
do
that?
is work with them to get our final job description. We've got one and it says terminal degree right now. But we'll work with the committee, isn't that correct?
It'd be a different committee.
But I mean,
Could
okay,
be the
Yeah,
policy
but
committee?
our search committee will.
We'll get input from the search firm.
I can promise you that with a national search firm, there will be applicants who don't have terminal degrees. They're going to apply anyway. And he is welcome to apply just like they would. And if we determine that this person was outstanding in every other respect, then that would be something that I think the college, you know, it would be us, you know, deciding whether to waive that or not. Don't you think? Yeah, it's the board's decision.
But we agree, we discussed this process since June, and this is the process that we all agreed on.
Right,
moving
yeah.
forward.
I mean, I think a college with our standing right now in the country should have a national search for president. And if we wind up hiring somebody local, I checked the references for Gold Hill, and they had worked with colleges that hired internal candidates while they were doing their national search. They went with an internal candidate.
So did you say there's already someone internally that has applied?
No,
No, there's no.
they have no applicants.
You said something just a while ago about.
I just said I
having one.
visited with Cheryl Guns, if there were internal candidates,
Okay.
how would they move forward? And she said they would go through the search firm as well.
Okay, I heard that, but I thought I heard something else about there was one, you already have one or something you said.
No, we have not started. I mean, it's not posted, it's not publicized. I mean, I will say that the community college world knows that we're looking for a president, because I checked references and they're like, yeah, we knew that Amarillo College was going to be looking for a president. I mean, because they knew Russell left. So, I mean, I think people who are interested are going to be watching for the ads and for when it's posted, because they might want to apply.
I did understand it. I don't even know which meeting it was, some meeting I was at, that there are a number of people that are kind of floating around or waiting for places. A lot of people that might be interested. And maybe in the state, I don't know for sure. I heard that, but they said there were a lot of people that were, I guess, wanting to get a new job.
Mm-hmm.
So,
A friend of ours, who's a board chair in another community college in Texas, just did this, and they had 132 applicants.
That's quite a few.
Oh, wow.
I don't really want 132 applicants, but
That's why you.
that's why we have a search committee, so.
Well, and that search firm said that they will know 30% of the people who apply. They will already know who they are because they go to all the meetings and they know all the people who are in leadership all over the country. So they're going to know a lot of the people who apply, and they will go out and find more people to apply, particularly if they feel like the pool isn't strong enough.
So at this point, do we have an idea of what the salary is going to be, or when do you determine that?
You know?
Later? They just apply whether they know what they're going to get paid or not, right?
Right, yeah, all that happens at the end, the negotiation after you pick who you want, then that's where, they've looked at the market, they know what community college presidents are making, that's published.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that's when they can negotiate at that point.
And Jay sent me a picture of a slide when he went to ACCT. He went to a session on hiring a president, and he texted me a graph, and he said, we're going to be in good shape just from where the numbers are across the region, across the nation and such. So we'll be competitive, is what he meant, or what he said.
Well, I mean, just to add to what you said, Michelle, I think, and we've already talked about this, but just to reinforce, I think we owe our community a national search and find the best candidate. If they're right here locally, that'd be great. But honestly, we owe it to our community to make sure we get the best person. And typically that means you cast your net wide and far and see what you get, and who knows what that will look like. The thing that was also impressive is these folks know that there will be several candidates that probably won't be a fit. That's why you hire a search firm, is so they know us enough to know some of these people that apply just won't be a fit, and we don't have to look at 130 something resumes. So.
Well, and this firm also has a guarantee. So within 12 months, if your new president doesn't work out for any reason, some of the other applications said for cause, but if your president doesn't work out for any reason, they will do a new search for free.
Really?
And I said, well, does that ever happen? I mean, how often has that happened? And they laughed and they said, we can't think of it ever happening. And they will not, if they place a candidate, they will not come and try to poach that candidate years, 3 or 4 years from now for another position. Once they've placed a candidate, that candidate is off limits. Now, that candidate can come to them and apply for a job that they are representing the community college on, but they won't go looking. They won't go try to find that candidate.
It sounds like y'all have really done your homework. Well,
Yeah.
thank you
I
for
think
that.
they have.
Yeah.
We really
I was concerned,
Yeah.
to be honest.
They also did tell us that they're committed to reducing their overall estimate by $5,000 since we've already done the background work for creating the presidential profile.
Okay.
So it's 5,000
That they would reduce.
reduce. So their actual cost would have been what, 65,000?
Yeah, it's still an estimate. It'll be 5,000 less than what they had in their proposal, but we haven't finished all the details of that because we have to find out how many trips there are going to be. The travel is still a little bit of a guess, but it will be.
Yeah.
They get. I think what John is saying, they gave a better answer than the other firm.
Yep.
I said, what was the reduction? She was $1,000. This guy was prepared to say
5,000 plus whatever
And it
travel.
included the travel.
Mm-hmm.
It also saved at least a month on the timeline.
Yeah.
Having done that.
Well, did not include the travel, that would be on top of that 5K.
So where are the people coming from? We're talking about travel, where
Well,
where
one
will
of
they
them is
be
in-
traveling from?
Lives in Waco, right?
Yeah.
Dennis, I'm sorry, I'm looking at you.
Preston he lives in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay, and Dennis Michaelis lives in Waco, where he was the president forever. Yeah, so
20
he
years.
still lives in Waco. And they mentioned Southwest Airlines and how that has
Right.
made the travel easier. And I do
Not
know
from
that
Waco.
that one of the references up in Chicago said that Dennis Michaelis was really good, that he would like use his hotel reward points for hotel rooms and find cheap fares, and was very cost conscious about expenses. I mean, people volunteered this information about these guys. They were really very generous in talking to
They
us.
really know them, then, don't
They
they?
really know them. They really do know
The
them.
hotel room.
No. Yeah. they're funny.
It's good to know that.
Yeah, they were very. I think they are very prudent, and I mean, I just think it's a real personal. I think it's going to be a real personal relationship with Gold Hill. I mean, they just seem like real personal kind of people.
So who will let them know if we approve this? You?
Yes, I can do that. I can tell them that
And
we'll
who-
start working immediately on a contract.
And who lets ACCT know?
I should do the same thing.
Yeah, yes. You could keep ACCT, in the hopper in case it didn't work out with Gold Hill for some reason on a contract. I mean, I'm like certain it will, but I don't know. What do you guys usually do?
Yeah, we rank them 1 and 2, and then if one doesn't work out, then we go to 2.
Okay,
So you don't tell 2 until you have number 1.
No, you'd go ahead and tell 2, but just tell them if things don't work out, then with our first selection, then we'll come back to you.
okay.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, good. Since I got an email from GA, the head of the place, today they announced Russell, or the next morning.
Oh, wow.
From who?
Ji Hang Lee, the guy who runs ACCT.
See,
The head honcho guy. So he was paying attention to
Mhm.
Boston.
Yeah.
All right, everybody ready to vote? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Motion for adjournment.
Second.
Yeah.
Are you gonna ask for dates for general?
Well, but we can vote on adjournment and then do that. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Yeah, meeting.
meeting is